Is it too early to stop worrying about deferred mortgages? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this Courier Mail article from realestate.com.au sent to me by a viewer. Housing fears ease as the majority of deferred loans, mortgage holidays, get back on track. Now, the situation we're in at the moment, you've got a large proportion of people that have received a mortgage holiday, and some of them have received a second mortgage holiday. You've got a proportion of the economy, businesses that are being propped up by JobKeeper, government handouts directly to businesses to support jobs. You've got welfare that's been supplemented by additional payments. You have the ability for businesses, this is the one that really scares me, to trade while insolvent. So, an example, I did a project, for a builder last year. If they didn't pay me, I could have, gone them under the Australian Companies Act and, chased them up, tried to deregister them, that type of thing. Now, they've got a 6-month window until they can reply to anything. I can't chase them, and the amounts I can go them for has been adjusted as well. For me, that's not too bad. I mean, I'm working with good, reputable people at the moment, so I'm not worried. Although I have copped it in the past. But my costs are what? My little office here at the back of my house, my electricity, and my software, my time. There's an advantage to scaling back your business. You don't have many overheads. Best decision I ever made. Although it means I didn't have anyone to ramble or rant to, and hence I'm on YouTube to give my wife some sanity. But back to my story. Imagine if you're a subby. Say you're a carpenter or a chippy or someone working in one of these houses, or a plumber. What if you're a plumber and you paid for all the pipes yourself because the builder that you're working for said he's going to pay you? You've concreted the bloody things in, and then, I won't pay you now. Or they'll pull out the old illegal paid when paid line. You can't go on because they're trading while insolvent. Fantastic. Just change the rules. Change the rules. It's insane. It really is. I don't see how any politician could have thought that through. But I bet you, this is why, the quiet beer and talking to your mates about who the dodgy players are, that's probably the most important part of the economy. So, back to this. Do we not need to worry about all these deferred loans now? Because we still have all of these interventions into the market. What happens when, home builder, as well, I forgot to mention that's putting fuel onto the construction sector right now. It's helping keep it going. It's an increase in building approvals. Let's have a look here. You can see the spike up in the blue line. That's private sector housing. That's jumped up because of home builder. What happens when that cools off? And what happens if, say, you're a tradie on home builder? You're working busy because there's economic activity, but the builder you're working for, he's trading while insolvent, so he doesn't pay you for 6 months, and you've been on mortgage holiday, and your partner, they're on JobKeeper. JobKeeper ends, so they lose their job. Then the job seeker reduces, they lose their job. The mortgage keeper ends, mortgage holiday ends, and then all of a sudden it hits September and the Commonwealth Bank is suddenly going to actually foreclose on your house. So why are we writing articles not to worry about it? The economy is still on life support. Or am I just looking at these things through the eyes of someone in business? Is that why? Let me know in the comments, guys. Should we just go with the flow and not worry? So, fears of a housing crisis spurred by an avalanche of deferred loans have dissipated, with new data showing the majority of COVID-19 mortgage deferrals are back on track. Well, how many of those people have built up a war chest? How many people have taken advantage of this, going, okay, our emergency fund is non-existent, or let's just hoard cash until we need it. And now they're deploying that cash. Remember, the savings rate in Australia was over 19%. It was at record highs. So is that what we're seeing? Latest figures released by the Australian Banking Association today showed the number of mortgage loan deferrals had dropped 66% since the pandemic peak earlier this year to now sit below $170,000. The data compared loan deferrals on June 24th to that of November 4th and found a staggering shift. Of the mortgage loan deferrals, home loan deferrals fell 67% in that time to now sit just over 145,000. The ABA CEO, Anna Bligh, said economic recovery was gathering pace. This is an encouraging sign that most Australians are through the worst, she said. Is it really, or is it a sign that the banks have ended a lot of the mortgage holidays and only you have to reapply to get it again? I'd say that's more the sign of it. The Australian banks have played a major role in carrying the economic burden of the pandemic for their customers. The good news is that the majority are now bouncing back as they restart loan repayments. She said more than 900,000 loans were deferred by Australian banks at the peak of the pandemic, most of which was carried by the 7 largest banks. Ms. Bligh said the number of loans on hold was expected to fall further in coming weeks as more of them reach the end of their 6-month deferral. So that's all we're seeing. Is that what we're seeing here? A snapback of the economy, this V-shaped recovery, or the fact that the loan deferral periods are ending so people are having to go into their savings? See, when we had really tough times, we did everything we could to make sure we kept our payments going. Everything we could. We cut back like you could not imagine. There was months where I told Rachel, you can't spend any money. We've got none. Nothing's coming in. We've got to wait. Can't spend a cent. So we didn't spend a cent. Literally. It's actually quite useful for eating all, you should give it a try, guys. Try and go a week. Just give it a week as a test to not spend $1. $1 and see how much money you have left over. See how much of the food that you've got in your house, maybe those old cans sitting at the back of the pantry, you just eat. Do it. Give it a shot. And then put that off your mortgage, or put that in your savings, or put that off your credit card. Then try another week until you literally run out of food at home. You'd be amazed at what you can make with an old can of beans and some noodles. Not the healthiest diet, mind you, but Some experts have warned of a looming crisis if 6-month mortgage deferral deadlines coincided with the federal government's ceasing special COVID-19 job seeker and job keeper payment levels. Ms. Bligh said it was great to see a lower than expected number of people needing to extend their deferral period. She said banks could help borrowers find a way through this. Don't wait till you're in over your head. Talk to your bank, she said. Don't tough it out on your own. The figures were sourced from CBA, Westpac, NAB, ANZ, Bank of Queensland, Suncorp, and Bendigo banks. So, another Anna Bligh telling, go contact your banks. They'll help you out. I don't think anyone trusts them. The banks can't keep carrying this forever. There's going to come a point where the banks will start tapping on people's shoulders. I suspect it's even happening quietly now. They go, maybe you need to look at this. My biggest concern is having everything with the one bank, with the all monies clause. Or where they're concerned with your industry, that they want you to, this is the story I heard from a broker. He had one client, he was in the airport industry, and the bank tapped him on the shoulder, you got a month, we don't want to do business with you anymore, you present too high risk. Mortgage, business loans, credit card, personal banking, everything gone. You need to find someone else. So he had to go to a broker to sort out new sources of credit for him. Insane. But this is the type of stuff what happens. They're not your friends. So I don't really trust Anna's true intentions. I'm sure she's probably a lovely person. But I can understand why people want to tough it out on their own. But then again, ring them up and try and get a lower rate, guys. Find a way to save money. I mean, they're not paying much for their money, so, do it. You should do it. Ring them, try and get a savings. Jump from one bank to the other. So what do you think, everyone? Is it correct that we don't need to fear all of this? Is it just all the scaremongering that we don't need to worry about these predictions or simulations from the RBA of a potential 40% fall? Only 170,000 people are still deferring their mortgages. Forget about all those other things that are propping up the economy. I'm sure it'll just disappear. The government can easily turn off all this stimulus and it won't have any unintended consequences. I don't believe it either. I think it's a little bit early to be jumping to these conclusions. Until until the government interventions in the economy have been pulled back, we're not going to see the true impact or damage that's occurred due to these lockdowns, due to these restrictions, due to the decimation, or even more so the decimation, the complete destruction of international tourism and student education, particularly on our property market. What do you reckon? Just a bit of positivity from the real estate spruikers? I guess that, I mean, you can spin this in two things. It's a good sign there's less people needing these. That's a good sign. So what's happened, I would bet a carton, that a lot of people have taken this as an opportunity to build up a war chest to keep them going. Because they're going to do whatever they can to stay in their homes. Investment properties, people may start selling them, and we're starting to see prices correct in those areas, particularly in the apartment sector. But houses, you do what you can. You collect scrap metal. You sell your silver that you've got. You take the kids out of private school. You cut your costs to the bones. Because, well, tough times come and tough times go. I just think it's a bit early to be saying everything's all roses right now. What do you reckon, guys? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. Simply interacting with the channel, helping share the videos helps the channel grow, and that's fantastic. Thank you all very much. If you want to support us a bit extra, you can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can buy our merch from Teespring down below, or from HeiseSays. Rachel has, I keep pointing the wrong way, pocket squares that are handmade here in this very sweatshop of a house. Australian made. We have referral links you can use from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I will see you all in the next episode.